in my old company, I struggled a lot. I never really got the real like momentum results. Like I never got to where I actually wanted to be. And even though I had the company for about 6 years, and I kind of thought I did a lot, but every time I was deciding, now I'm gonna do whatever it takes, I'm gonna reach out to potential customers, I'm gonna do all the social media every day, or at least almost every day, I'm gonna do all the things. And really, now is the time, now I'm really gonna do it. And then a period went by where I did all of the things. I did it, I did what I said I would do, and I started to get a little bit of momentum. I started to see a bit of results, maybe a few more clients, maybe something. Some more followers. I could begin to see some results. And then something would always happen. So I just had no energy. I was not motivated anymore, so I kind of just stopped. And then of course the result stops as well, as the case often is. And for the longest time, like for all of the time, and actually also for most of my life, I have always thought about myself that maybe it's because I'm just lazy, unmotivated, I can't be consistent. This is just like kind of a character flaw. I'm not cut out for this. I get bored, all these kinds of things. Maybe you know some of these reasons. And then I went on to do something else. And at some point, some years ago, I started, not even some, but a few years ago, I started learning about the nervous system, and how that is pretty much the boss of everything. The boss of you, the boss of your success, the boss of, yeah, pretty much every little thing in your life. If your nervous system doesn't feel safe, and everything that is new, that is unsafe for your body, for your nervous system, especially if it has been like under a lot of pressure for maybe years, maybe for your whole life, then it just deems everything new dangerous, and then it stops you. And then maybe it makes you sick, maybe it makes you just incredibly tired, maybe something else is coming up for you, and you just stop, even though you really want this, you really want the sorry, you want the business, you want the success, you want the body, you want the everything, kind of the relationship, whatever it is, kind of. Then if it's not something that is familiar, then it's unsafe, and the only job your nervous system has is to keep you safe. It doesn't care if you're happy. It seems so unlogical, but it's really, that's how it is. Its only job is to keep you safe, and everything new, even though it's not a tiger, even though it's not something scary, then it seems unsafe, and then it stops you. So when I discovered this, when I found out that this was the case, this was why I kept just starting something and then stopping right when the results were about to come, when I started to see some momentum, and then I just stopped. And that pretty much gave my whole life I got a lot more understanding of everything that I have experienced, for my whole life. Because this is not only something that was happening in my business, it was happening everywhere in my life. And when I started to see that, I could see myself with totally different eyes. Then it wasn't because I was lazy, it wasn't because I was unmotivated, or it wasn't because I just didn't have what it takes or wasn't able to be consistent. Because I have shown myself that it is possible to be consistent, and it's not about that. It's just when your system doesn't feel safe, no amount of discipline can force it through, because then it just gets worse and worse. Then the tiredness becomes health issues, and then it's just, there's no way to just push through. But when you start to see this, when you start to see that this is what happens every time, and you start to see the patterns, that every time you start something new and every time you begin to see some kind of momentum, and then something happens and you stop, and then you can begin to see, okay, this is a pattern, and patterns that can luckily be changed. And that is just the beginning. If you start to catch yourself, start to think, if you see these patterns, if you begin to see these patterns, and stop and ask yourself, is this my nervous system? Is this the reason? Or is it because I really don't want to do this after all? Is it not aligned? Or what is the deal here? But most of the time, it is probably your nervous system trying to protect you. And that is very, very practical, especially if you're in like thousands of years ago and you never knew what kind of danger was just around the corner. Then it's very, very practical that it's there to keep you safe. But now, especially with things you really want to achieve, not so practical, no. But this is just, maybe you can relate, maybe this has given you some kind of insight or something. For me, it has been a big game changer. Not that it's just fixed, because it's not a one-time thing. It keeps coming up, but I get better and better at recognizing, okay, this is just a message from my nervous system saying this is new, this feels a bit scary now. And then you can just talk to yourself, to your system, to something. You can do some regulation, if it's like breathing, if it's EFT tapping, which I have done a lot of, and will definitely be talking more about that, because it is an amazing tool. But there is so many different things you can do, and just take baby steps instead of thinking that you can just push through, because that is not the way to go. Your nervous system is trying to keep you safe the only way it knows how. So you should honor it and really take it easy and appreciate that it's trying to protect you. I don't know if any of this resonates, but if it does, let me know in the comments and stick around.